Welcome, everyone. Glad that you can make it. Um, it has been quite a day. I had something to do today, and then I said, "Oh," and I was planning it as a normal thing, and then I was like, "Oh crap! I got to go live at 4 o'clock." So I had to rush out and do the thing, and come back and get all prepared. So it's been a day. Um, so let's see. Fortunately, I will tell you, there was someone outside, and I think they were pumping water up to the someone's top water tank, and there was a compressor running, and it was all noisy. But they finished in time, kindly. There was some construction going on not 10 minutes ago, and they were like, "Bam, bam, bam," and I was like, "Oh, that'll be fun." Although I don't think you can hear it with this microphone. Um, but I'm going to tell you something. Ghana is not a quiet place. Okay. I mean, there's probably quiet neighborhoods. I think where I've stayed in Accra or Adenta, I want to say that was pretty quiet. I think there might be some quiet areas, but on the whole, Ghana is not a quiet place. My my apartment is set fairly far back from the road, and you hear people shouting. You got some construction, and they have a livestock market, I guess they're a small one. And so there's goats and cows all the time and chickens, and sometimes they come over here and wander around. And I think one of our security guys keeps some chickens too. And but if you're in Accra, of course it's noisy because you're in a big city. But we stayed in Osu, which is the big popular place, and there's nightclubs and all that, and you'll just hear the nightclubs going all night long, or football games, and from a quarter mile away, and you're hearing, when people score because it's like, yeah, kind of cheering and all that. So I just have Ghana marked as not a quiet place. I love it. I love Ghana. I'm not ragging on it. It's just, don't come here expecting peace and quiet unless you really look for a place that's peace and quiet, and then you'll think you have a peace and quiet place, and then you find out you're living near something that's noisy. So if you are thinking of moving here, um, check out the place you're living, because you might unknowingly move into something that's next to something that's noisy. Just beware. Um, there's a church over here that's far noisier than the casino I ended up living next to in Los Angeles. So yeah, be aware. um, so uh, this week was I looked at it, and I was going to tell you guys what happened, and I was like, "What the heck happened?" I was busy all week. I mean, I was busy, and I'm like, "And what did I do? What happened?" But I did do stuff. I just had to figure it out, write it down. It was one of those weeks. Have you ever had one of those weeks where you're busy the whole week, you're doing a bunch of stuff, you're getting this done, getting that done, and then you look back and you're like, "What did I do?" Yeah, that's what this week is. So, first thing is, a couple of weeks ago, I sent my passport off to the U.S. Embassy to get renewed. Now, it technically doesn't expire for a few years, but two things. First of all, most places you travel, they want like 6 months of validity in your passport before it expires for whatever your stay is going to be in their country. So you got to take 6 months off. Whatever your expiration date is, don't figure that the expiration. You got to think about it 6 months before. And I didn't want to just be in some random country. Not that it wouldn't have a U.S. embassy, but some place that maybe I was only going to plan to be in that place for a week or two. And it takes, they say 2 weeks. Let's say 2 to 3 weeks to get it done. So I just decided I didn't want to be in some random place when it came time to renew it, and I wanted to go ahead and get it done now since the passport's good for 10 years. Well, first 3 weeks ago, I went to DHL, and they said, "Oh, we don't have a contract with them anymore." And I'm like, "How am I supposed to get my passport renewed? Because I'm all the way up here in Tamale. That's a 12-hour drive down to Accra was where the embassy is." And so I contacted the embassy, and they said, "Oh, no, no, no. There was another department that canceled their contract with DHL, but the American Citizen Services still has the contract." Okay, so I go back to DHL, and then he calls the brass, and they set it straight. And I'm sure it was just a miscommunication, you know. And he says, okay. And then they take it in. They're like, yeah, you're right. It's all good. And they took it. And so then I checked with the embassy, but too soon, uh, to see if they got it in. And then I didn't hear anything for about 2 weeks. I thought, I better check again. And I checked, and the embassy tells me, we don't have it. Check with DHL. And of course, I'm fearing the worst. I'm fearing it's either lost or that it's still sitting in the office up here, or something happened, or that it got down to Accra and they said, oh, we don't have a contract with them. What were we supposed to do with this? Yeah. Well, the guy up here, the manager up here, calls down there, talks to the person who signed for it. Okay, you know, I know, old fashioned phone. So this just doesn't look good though. You know, the, this works better. Um, but he calls down there, talks to the person who said, and they say, no, we took it over to the embassy. We delivered it on the 16th. And so then I email back to the embassy and they say they did it on the 16th. And then the embassy is like, well, what's their tracking info? What do you have? And so I sent them a copy of I took a picture of the receipt they had given me. And a few days later, they found it and it's processing and it'll be ready in a couple weeks and all that. So that was one of the things I did this week. I mean, it was that little back and forth and different stories. I still don't know who goofed. I somewhere in the embassy, it seems like somewhere in the embassy it got caught and didn't get passed on to the right people. But so be it. I'm finding the longer I travel, the less stuff bothers me. I mean, there's a time when, there's a little bit, yeah, that's my passport you're playing with there. But I'm talking to the embassy, if I'm getting a renewal, I mean, replacement renewal, not a big deal. It'll happen, and I've got scans of it anyways. Um, so that was that. But yeah, I'm finding there's a lot, not a lot phases me anymore. Just being really honest, it takes a lot for things to phase me. Um, don't try and rip me off though. Okay, so the other things I did, I worked on the website. Now there's a page for Africa Tour 2025 on the website. It's not going to necessarily be the main point of things, but it's there. It's there to introduce people. And there's a map. If you want to take a look, there's a map. And I just connected the capital cities in each country. I didn't do a big challenge, a big detailed map. Honestly, there are various ways to do maps, and they're all difficult. And the ones that might be easier or more complete are really expensive, and we're talking a bunch of money every month. And now we're going to keep it simple for now. If I get rich off of this, then I'll consider it. But which you don't need it. I mean, all you have to do is be able to look and say, oh, she's going here. At some point, I'll do a detailed map of all the little places I go in each country. But right now, you just need to see my route. So we'll keep it simple. Um, and so I did a bunch of stuff on the website, updating it, freshening it, putting some new stuff up, that kind of thing. So as I say, it's these things that don't look like a lot, but they still take your time. You've had those weeks, right? Everyone has those weeks. And I have a small mailing list from the newsletter. Anyone who's on it knows if you see something from me once a quarter, that's a big deal. If I ever get efficient enough to be doing once a month, that'll be a small miracle. So if you do sign up for my email newsletter, do not worry about getting spammed with stuff. I just send stuff out every once in a while saying, hey, this is what I've been up to. But if you're watching me here, well, this is the best place to find me. This is absolutely the best place to find me. So the other thing I did, though, the fun thing I did, is I filmed a video. And I'm doing a video on one of those, the 20 things you should know about Ghana 20 things you should know before coming to Ghana. Okay. And I've watched a few of those, and sometimes I'm amazed that they'll do things that are basic. It's like, oh, well, they use CDs for money, and this is how you get your visa and all that. It's like, you can Google that. That's easy to Google. My list is all things that you learn from being here. You know, it's stuff that you won't know coming in for your first time, but that just actually become really normal here. But that might have been a little peculiar the first time I saw it. That kind of thing. So there's a lot of little cultural things. There's a few practical ones and a lot of cultural ones that will really help you. It's not the basics of basic travel stuff. I assume if you're coming to Ghana, you probably have some basic travel knowledge, as I say that, or you can Google it. But with this video, I was really trying to get things that were very particular culturally, um, so that it was really helpful for you, so that when you run into it, you'll be like, oh, I've heard about this, you know. So, um, so the thing is I was filming and I filmed it in town, and so you get to see some of the market, you get to see the bus station, and the bit I filmed at the bus station, uh, I don't know if I hit the button wrong. It had to be I hit the button wrong. My mic was recording because it's a separate system. I use it as a separate system. It doesn't have to be, but I use it as a separate system. And so, but the camera didn't. And so I went back. That's what I had to do today. And it's rainy season. And the day I filmed was all gray and cloudy. Okay, it was really gray and cloudy. And the sun was out today. Of course, the sun was out today. And so I was trying to match it. I was like, okay, I'll wait another hour. And then I was looking at it. It's like, oh, wait, you've got to go live today. You can't go live. You can't wait another hour and still expect to get back in time for the live. And I was like, oh, crud. It's Saturday. So I went down and it had gotten a little bit cloudy. Um, so we'll see. If you watch the next video when it comes out, and it's all sunny on the first one and then cloudy on the rest of them, it's because I had to reshoot one on a different day. That happens sometimes. But I've got all the little pieces ready, and this video should be out easily by next week. By this time next weekend, it'll definitely be out. I don't know if I'll release it on Friday or Saturday or which day, but I think it's going to be a really cool one. And they're quick. Most of the tips are under a minute. A few of them are just a smidge over, but some are a smidge under too. So it balances out. But I think it's going to be a really cool one because it's different, because it's from actually being here. Uh, it's not generic. It's absolutely not generic. Um, and so I was doing that this week, and I was doing that, and I was starting, like the last couple of days, I've been editing those pieces, since there's 20 tips. And because of the way I shot it, I have to match up the audio, the separate audio with the video. And then after I got it all attached, and then I also ran it through, there's Adobe has a thing it's actually designed for podcasts, but it's supposed to clean up audio. Well, I subscribed to it, and I can change. I didn't want to eliminate street sound, which the tool would if you left it all the way up at like 90%. And so I took it down so it was just to 10%, just to make sure you could hear me over the traffic and over the street sounds. And so I had to, process all of those. Internet was deadly slow last night. It had to be something wrong with the system because it was like 1 a.m. It couldn't have been that busy. So yeah, all of this is in prep for finishing out the videos I want to make here in Ghana and getting ready for Africa Tour 2025, which is why you're here. And there's rain coming in. Just a minute ago, it was like the kind of cloudy I wanted for the shoot, but now it's kind of gotten sunny again. But if I look at the satellite, there's like rain on all three sides, like converging. It might just rain all night and into tomorrow, the way it looks. And then sometimes the satellite's completely wrong. It's like, no precipitation, and it's supposed to be updated. It says no precipitation for at least 2 hours as it's pouring rain outside. Yeah. So, oh, and by the way, if you are I want to thank everyone who went over to my Facebook page for Africa Tour 2025 that I asked you to last week, and who gave it a like and all that. I really appreciate it and followed it, and thank you. I really appreciate you taking that effort. I know how it is jumping from platform to platform, and I really appreciate you taking time to do that. So thank you very much. Um, and so we will see how everything goes. I have to decide. I'm going to decide whether to stream on Facebook now that I'm on Facebook, or if I should stay. Well, I need to stay with Instagram. We'll figure it all out. um, okay, so the next country. Oh, I didn't pull up the map, but the next country that I am researching is the Republic of Congo. Now, the hardest part about this is there is the Republic of Congo, and then there's also the DRC, which is the Democratic Republic of Congo. And the DRC is got some problems. Crime in Kinshasa is supposed to be pretty high, but they say that I'm going to be in Lagos too, and they say that there too. So that might just be being smart um, and being very aware, extra aware. I'll find out when I get near there. I'm trying. From what I know about DRC right now, it would be best if I avoided it. And then again, I might discover it's one of those countries. Oh, let me see. If anyone's dropped a chat, I'm sorry, I haven't had the chat up. I had the music going. Oh, no, no chats yet. If you are catching this, drop me a yellow heart or something like that, um, or just a wave or a hi or something something. Okay, but the Republic of Congo is fine to go to. The DRC potential issues, um, but we'll see. When I get there, when I get in the area, I will ask around and see what there is to do in DRC and if it's safe to do so or not. I know a lot of the problems that are happening are with the mining, and they're over in the eastern part of the country. And then the question is, should I even go to a country that's that, it's not corrupt, but it is corrupt. It's, you know, the people are being abused. They're liking it, yeah, to modern day slavery for the people who are working the mines, and getting paid squat so we can all have our materials we need for our smartphones and computers and laptops and everything else. Um, it's controversial, and yeah, I don't know what to do about it. But to be honest, you know, one person can't solve everything. If I said I didn't want to go anywhere that had issues, then there'd be too many places that I couldn't go. Especially coming from the U.S., it would also be kind of, I want to say hypocritical, but the U.S. isn't perfect either. Um, especially So at this point, I'm not ruling anything out on that basis. I would be ruling a place out based on safety, yes, but at this point, not yet am I on the, oh, I won't go there because this government is doing that. Because the people of a place and the government of a place can be two very different things. And, my going might be a benefit to the people of the place. And yeah, technically my visa fees would go to the government, but my tourism dollars would be spent in country and help people. So this is where I get a little torn sometimes. But right now, I'm assuming I'm skipping over DRC if I can. Let's just leave it at that. At this point, DRC is a skip. However, Republic of Congo is not a skip. I will be passing through Republic of Congo. And um, and see, there's this little spit of land. That's the question of how I get past or around it, or maybe I just skate through the edge of DRC or something like that. So um, that's the big question on this entire trip, is that little strip right there. So what did I find when I went looking for things on Congo? Let's get to the screen sharing. Um, let's see. I'm gonna. Oh, that's too far over. That picture's too far over. Okay. Found one place that's a waterfalls. Let me share the screen with you. And this one sounded really cool. Let's see what you're seeing. Okay, you're getting a decent picture of it. This one seems really cool. Some people complained about how long it took to get to it. This is just a cursory initial look on TripAdvisor, by the way. Um, TripAdvisor, at this point, I don't book tours and stuff because I just do it all on my own. But I use it for research because it's one of the biggest platforms, and for places that are hard to find sometimes, find stuff on. They usually at least have a little bit of stuff to get me started. But this waterfalls, they say someone said it takes like 3 or 3.5 hours to get there. It's not clear exactly if that's all driving with a short walk or if it's a hiking in kind of thing. One person was utterly disappointed with it because they didn't like how long it took to get there and do it. Other people loved it because it is, once you get there, it seems to be a really impressive waterfall. Um, Basically, it's everyone, even the people who liked it, it's a case of it's hard to get to, um, but most people said it was worth it. I'm going through some pictures, and I think they're going off screen for you. Um, Seeing if I can find a better one. Nope, 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 that one's not going to show. Mostly just variations on that one. Oh, hey, that's not a bad picture. That is not a bad picture. So this one looks really cool. If, you know, last hour is a tough four-wheel drive needed because it's kidney buster. I can live with that. I've done that before. So I'm thinking I'm going to go to this waterfall if it's reasonable to do so. Um, and then I'll just go tab by tab from what I've pulled for you. This is a cathedral in Brazzaville. Now, Brazzaville is very near the border with Kinshasa and with DRC. Brazzaville's in Congo, Kinshasa in DRC, if I'm got that right. I don't have my map up, so I'm doing that from memory. Um, so, but Brazzaville's the capital. Oh, I hit something. See any more pictures to show? It's a slow load right now. Okay. But so that's a cathedral I could go to. Oh, and the thing is, now get this. A lot of the places, Gabon and even a little bit of Cameroon and Republic of Congo, all seem to have gorillas. And let's see if this is the one. Which was this one? Okay, this is the what is been the one I'm about to show you. Oops. Oh, I don't think I'm. Okay, I meant to be sharing and I lost my sharing. So let me get this. There we go. We'll do that one. Okay. Let me see if I can get a picture for you that you'll be able to see, or a good shot here. Can you see the gorilla? That's the question. Yeah, there we go. They have gorillas, and it's the same kind of jungle area as Rwanda and Uganda, who are famous for their gorilla treks. Okay, now not this national park, but there's another national park in Republic of Congo that is actually a rehabilitation center. And one person complained because they only got to see like one sick gorilla and then some hippos, and there weren't a lot of animals. And it was like, it was one of those gutbuster rides to get out there. But the truth of the matter is, with the one that's a rehabilitation center, they're only going to have gorillas when they're taking care of a sick gorilla, and then they get released. They get re-released into the wild. So I understand that, and I understand if you had your hopes high, it might be a little disappointing, but I would still go out there. If unless someone just told me, oh yeah, there's nothing going on there right now, I would still go out there. And but this park, oh, am I going to be able to pronounce it? It is Nuabale Ndoki National Park. Um, this one has some pretty good pictures going on. Let's see. You can't see it on this one, but it's a picture from the boat. You can do a boat ride on this one, a canoe ride type thing, and you can just see an elephant hiding in the brush. You know, as I say, it's off screen for you guys. I apologize. And it almost looks like, well, I'd say it looks like a baby elephant. It must be the angle because it's got full tusks, so it's no baby. It's got to be the angle that's making it look small. Maybe they're up on the boat. Let's see. Got a little bit of a gorilla there. You're only seeing part of it. I see that. Oh, look at that. Look at that. Doesn't that look cool? Yeah, you got the full shot there. See, that just looks like, I don't know if if you can go on that as a tourist, but just that scene is really cool to me. You know, it tells me of a place, it tells me about the place. Um, and I don't know if they're falling into your line of sight, but there's some elephants in this watering hole. And you can see now this is Central Africa. This is what you would call like the jungle, the deep jungle. And they say that a lot of people who live in jungle areas don't call it jungle, they call it rainforest. And hey, I'm all in agreement for that. But in the traditional and the Hollywood sense, you would call it the jungle. Um, and as I say, or rainforest. Here, the guy's holding out a seed or a nut. I'm sure he's a guide. And this is some nice photography here. I feel like they had someone do these nice photos for their site. Um, I'm not sure what this guy is holding. It's like he's demonstrating something with bark from a tree. And there's another canoe picture, but I don't think the canoe's on screen for you. Another picture of an elephant at the watering hole, and again, not on screen for you. Sorry. And a little bit of the bedroom. Oh, hey, that's a nice. This is just a scenic, so you're getting as much of it as you know. There, look at that. I mean, doesn't that look like a cool place to go? And to know that there will be various animals wandering through. If this is the kind of place where I could stay several nights, yeah, you know, I would do this. Um, and I'll do it even if I can't stay several nights. But it would be great if there were a place to stay on the grounds so I could stay several nights. That's what I'm saying. It's not a, well, I won't do it if it's not, but I hope that there's a place to stay on the grounds so that I can stay several nights. Um, Partly with doing all the filming I do, you know, it really helps me to stay longer than the average tourist. Almost every place I go, I stay longer so that I can get everything filmed. Like when I went to Accra, I stayed at least 2 weeks. I think I stayed a little more than 2 weeks, like 17 or 18 days, which if you're a tourist, you know, you're through Accra in 3 days. If you stay five, that's a long time. So, um, you know, uh, I always stay longer so I can get the footage, get the information. So at the pace I go nowadays, I would say I'm a semi-slow traveler. I'm not a slow traveler, but I'm semi-slow. I'm certainly not racing through it like you often end up doing when you're a tourist and you only have this much vacation time and et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, and so a place like this park that I'm showing you, if I can stay multiple days, and you know that also gives me more opportunities to see things like, you know, gorillas and all that, and it lets me make better videos and such. So I'm happy to do that. I am happy to do that. Now let's see. Oh, and here's another thing. Share this tab instead. Okay, this is an art museum. Is it a museum or a gallery? No, it's a museum. Um, and so this looks really cool. Uh, this is a bunch of art from outside. This is a mask, which I think is mostly off your screen. That's the outside of the building. Another outside of the building. And Oh, there we go. Don't know how much of them you can see, but a bunch of sculptures. Oh, I didn't get through all these pictures with the way the week was, and I was like, oh, crud, it's Saturday. Um, I just, yeah, I'm just looking at these kind of for the first time too. Oh, I love these figures. These figures, they're wooden figures, but they put nails in them, and the metal is supposed to add to their protective quality. Okay, these are guardian figures for a village, and the nails make them stronger. The nails, the iron in the nails gives the figures strength, gives the spirit strength to protect the village. So I love these figures, and I'm waiting for some things. Yeah, they have rooms full of. Oh, this is going to be a full afternoon when I go to this museum. Yeah, this is a full afternoon. Okay, here's a. Let's see. How are you getting a good look at this? Okay, see how those nails are in the figure, in the wood. Yeah, I didn't. I don't know if you could see it on the last picture very well. So I'm going to say. Yeah, that's a little bit better shot of the nails in the wood sculpture. But as I say, those are always, as far as I know, I had an African art history class. So yeah, the nails are for protection and to make the spirit stronger. Oh yeah. Oh man, this museum's got some cool stuff. What are you seeing here? Okay, you're catching the edge of it. There's a mask going on there, and it looks really cool. Um, Oh, another mask, but the one before that with the beads was a little cooler. I wish I could move the focus of what I can share with you. And I wouldn't hesitate to go wide, except I can't stream on Instagram um, horizontal very well. So that's why I'm doing vertical. Um, okay, so let's go on to the next tab. Oh, let's see. What did I Coach Sauvage. It's kind of funny. Share this tab instead. I was talking about that, and you can't. I don't think you can see it on the screen. Yeah, there's another one of those wooden figures in this picture with the nails, but it's off screen for you. But this the point of this tab is actually beaches. Oh, that's just the village. That's after a rainstorm. Look at all that water down there. That's probably after a rainstorm. Ah, there we go. There's beach, and there's beach. Okay, we got beaches going on. Nice beaches in Congo. Ooh, what is that? Is that what is that? What is that? Does it? Some people are complaining, but they're like, I wish they put I wish they put the reviews in the order that they have arrived because, and these are like 2019 and before, and it doesn't look like there's any modern ones. But I wish they were in sequence of timing. Someone complaining about trash on the beach, but that happens. I mean, unless it's really bad. But yeah, so there's going to be some nice beaches to go to, and one that's having trouble loading. If it has trouble loading, time to move on to the next tab. Oh, here's the park that is evidently hard to get to, and may or may not have much in the way of gorillas, depending because they're a rehab center. And if they don't have any sick gorillas, it means there's none to rehab. But I would go here. Um, oh, look at that. Look at that scenery where if I push it, I want to look at the river. You got the big old river going through there, probably the Congo River, I assume, but I could be wrong. Got the big old river going through, and it's hard to tell if they're replanting that with trees, or if they were recently cut down, or if they've replanted it. It looks like they might have replanted it. That's really cool. Okay, and some gorilla pictures I know you're not seeing much. Oh, okay, here's some hippos. No, okay, the water that you're seeing there on the center of my screen is there's some hippos in it. You can just barely see their ears and a little bit of their eyes. So, um, Another gorilla. Nice little hilly. I wouldn't call that mountains. I would call that hills. Um, I'm not sure what. Oh, that's a hippo. Okay, that's a hippo. Oof. And we got some birds. We got some cool birds. So, oops. And then let's see. Did I get? Go away. Go away. Oh, let me share this tab instead. Okay. This is just a quickie go through. Oh, this is the gorges. Literally gorges. So I'm thinking not the Grand Canyon, but a pretty gorge. Let's see what you're seeing on this. Okay, yeah, you're getting a good view of that. So some cool rock formations. It's a nice gorge. Yeah, look at that. Look at that. Canyon, gorge, whatever you want to call it. I know there's probably a reason to call it one and not the other, or maybe they're both. So this looks like a cool place to go to. Um, and so we got a little bit of that. Oh, a little bit more beach going on. Little jungle, little beach, little canyon. Oh, this looks really cool. Oh, this looks really cool. Yeah. So yeah, I'd go here. I'd go here in a heartbeat. Um, so let's see. We're gonna stop sharing. So there's Republic of Congo for you. It looks like a lot of natural stuff. Looks like there's a few churches and basilicas worth seeing. Um, as I say, again, I kind of toss the see. It's hard to. I have all this other stuff going on, and it's hard to get excited about the research when I probably won't be there for pretty much a solid year from now, or almost a year from now. Not quite a year from now, but like 9 months ahead. So it's not like every second I can, I'm researching it because I'm happy. I'm very content researching as I go. Um, and so I've gone all the way to like Nigeria and a little bit of Cameroon. I've done part of Cameroon, but the rest has sort of been on the fly with you right here with me. Because, but I do want to share with you what I'm going to go see because that's the cool part, right? You want a little preview, a little glimpse of what I'm going to see, and hopefully my ability on making videos is just going to keep getting better because I looked at some of my older videos and it's like, oh yeah, I can see my improvement. Rather than I prefer that approach as to instead of the oh god I was so horrible back then. It's more like oh yeah I can see the improvement. I think that's a more positive way to look at it. But as I keep going and there's all this cool stuff I'm going to get to see and I'm so excited to share it with everyone. I'm very excited to share it. So let's see. Anything else happen? Tell me if you're still with me, tell me what's happened for you this week. Have you planned any trips? Have you daydreamed about any trips, or has none of that happened? And you know, just give me one cool thing that happened. Comment one cool thing that happened this week. I'll tell you a quick little story. A quick little story because it just happened this afternoon. It wasn't planned. I went and I raced down to the bus station to do that reshoot of that shot because see I've got it ready to go and I want to edit tonight and so I didn't want to put it off till tomorrow. I want to edit tonight and so I was coming back and I was even going to pay for what they call a drop in. If you do a shared ride, there can be 5 passengers in one of those little tuk-tuks. Okay, and but you can also do a drop in, which means they will take you to your front door. And I was willing to do that just to get back on time easy. I was right at the STC station. But then the guy had to try and rip me off. And I don't, the initial try, you know, was one thing. But then I told him, I said, look, I live here. I know what it's supposed to cost. And then he wouldn't come down and he kept doing this and being that. And he was being a jerk about it. And when someone does that, and I told him a couple times, look, I live here. I know what it's supposed to cost. And he kept fussing. And it's like, okay, fine, I'm out, I'm gone. And then his boss saw that I left, um, and his boss tried to stop me. Oh no, 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 come back. By that time, though, I was like, I didn't appreciate. He still just saw me as someone to rip off, you know. He lied to me about what the price was, and he just saw me as someone to rip off. And I was like, nah. I even just on principle, I didn't want to ride with him, even if they had agreed to my price. So I went down the street a little, ended up in a shared ride, paid a quarter of the price, and still got home in plenty of time. Um, in this case, these just go up and down the main street, and they'll pause to pick up or drop off people, but they're not like taking people to their front doors. So it's not like you're riding around with people all the way to their homes. Um, so yeah, I had in the tuk-tuks, and this goes for taxis too. Anything where there's a whole bunch of tuk-tuks or taxis in one spot, a taxi stand essentially, they're very much more likely to try and rip you off. And they're also usually they're always at those places, of course, where the tourists most want them, or the average, where they're the most useful, and they know they've got you, or they think they've got you, and they're always the ones that are going to try the hardest to rip you off because they think they're the only answer for you, and half the time you just walk a little down the street and get out of their sphere of influence, and then you can just get a cheaper ride, or at least even if I had done another drop in, I would have been ready. I would have been able to negotiate the right price as opposed to the rip off price. So yeah, don't go to if there's a whole bunch of them. If you go up to one of them and you know what the price is supposed to be, stand firm on your price because they can either give in and get the ride, or you can walk away and go get it cheaper halfway down half a block away. So that's my travel tip for today. Okay, and let's do. I like this thing. So we are going to let the music take us out. Thank you for joining me. I really appreciate you. I am very excited to share, and I'll see you next time.